Hey guys, T-Bull here. Today we got a look at the Alabama for you. Sims on the screen here. I got Cunningham and Shear. Shear's a good option for those of you Battleship players that are uh, trying to acclimate to the amount of cruisers out there that are shooting HE. Those cruisers are quite effective against battleships, uh, especially the ones that are set up for accuracy builds using commanders like Sims, Takagi, those type of commanders. So you can put some points into Shear. He cuts down on the fire chance and helps cycle the damage con as well. Here we got a game on Atlantic domination mode. We're spawned on A. Of course, we're going to cover the cap that we spawned by. But we're going to notice here very quickly, both teams end up kind of doing this. They concede A to us. We concede C to them. Then that allows our forces down here to kind of move forward into A and create crossfires into them, allows them to move into C, create crossfires into the battleships in our team that are just kind of sitting behind B, fully broadside to them. So here we'll see some effective positioning on battleships on both sides, and kind of both teams not responding very effectively to it. Opening shots though, Scharnhorst does get shot or spotted. We go ahead and take a shot there. Pretty much, long range shot, but we will do quite a bit of damage here. Those of you that are grinding up the lines for green XP ships, you're always asking me which ships are good, which ones aren't. I can't really think of a green XP ship that I've unlocked, and I've got all the tier 7s except for the Prince Eugen so far. They're all pretty good, so you can kind of look at which nation's line you enjoy and extrapolate from there which ones you would probably enjoy the most. They're all pretty strong in general. This will be a good example, or two good examples of why conceding caps, conceding flanks right off the bat is just not effective, though. You can see the Scharnhorst absolutely getting wrecked right off the bat, and he's taking some damage from the guys in front of him as well. You can look at his position on the map. He's presenting them opportunities to damage as well, but the ships over here are just kind of allowed to do whatever we want to do. And that's a problem. You don't want to allow the enemy to do whatever they want to do, because what they want to do is destroy your team very quickly. So, again, the destroyer here, he's on the cap. He hasn't been challenged. There's no credible destroyer threat. They have 3 destroyers, so we can go ahead and assume there was one that could have gone down to A, at least spotted us. Had we been spotted by this point in time, be playing a little bit more cautiously. Kind of reacting to the fact that there is a threat over here. There's no threat. We're unobstructed. Iowa's another target out there that's broadside. Scharnhorst did manage to get away, at least from our position, but sustained massive amounts of damage. Watching this back, I'm thinking to myself, we could be even more aggressive moving forward. We should probably be 2 or 3 kilometers in front of where we are right now, closing in on them. Distance, of course, the more you can cut down on the distance, the more accurate the shots are, the more dangerous you become to them. Edinburgh looks like he was trying to stop in the smoke, kind of squirted through it. So the British cruisers take a long time to stop. They're very glidey. If you're going to deploy the smoke, cool, that's a major tool and a part of their, tactical package that you want to be utilizing. But you got to understand that begin to slow down first, and then as you're slowing down, then deploy the smoke. It's going to cost this guy his life, and the Edinburgh is a very valuable ship. That thing can deal a lot of damage. He can also tank a fair amount of damage if he's pointing directly at us, but he's pointing his broadside more or less. He's kind of angled, maybe about a 45-degree angle. Not going to cut it, and we remove him from the game very easily. Iowa's angled towards the guys anchoring B, and this is, again, we're trying to push forward, create these crossfires. This is actively creating crossfires, as we talked about recently in other videos, and it's quite effective, So at this point in time, they're balling up into C. We're not really balling up on our team yet. The problem is, look at the destroyer we have in C. Our team is kind of throwing away ships on C, going in there 1 versus 5, one at a time, going in there trying to do something heroic, getting killed. So their deployment should be highly exploitable, highly punishable, and yet they're actually winning in terms of ship count and points so far. Now we do have the 2 cap advantage, which is key And anytime you have a 2-cap advantage, your goal at that point in time, hold the 2-cap advantage. We can whittle down the ships, we can remove them from the game as the game progresses, but aggressively rushing into them when they have, the onus is on them. They have to respond to us. Given enough time, which we have plenty of time, we will win the game on points. So we have no incentive whatsoever to be pushing into them, especially not one ship at a time, which is going to get slaughtered. You can see it's not an effective strategy. However, it is a strategy that you'll see your teammates employing pretty much every game. Kind of comes about because, number one, people don't really understand that well how to win. In this case, we can look at the map and we should be able to identify very clearly how to win. We have 2 caps. All we have to do is hold them. We have enough time for those caps to generate points. We will win on points, assuming we can stay alive. Number 2, people generally just don't care. A lot of people don't care about winning. They just go out there, they want to get some damage, and then they blow up and go on to the next game. Not, before the game ends, they're on to the next one. They don't notice that they've got 20 wins or 20 losses racked up in a row, and it's largely due to the not caring about the winning. Here on this channel, almost always I'm talking about strategies to win the game. If we get good damage, fine. If we get good XP, fine. But we are trying to be doing whatever we can to win the game. Looking on the deployments now, it's probably profitable for me to continue to move to the north. You can see I'm kind of stacked with this Richelieu that's right in front of me, and that's a duplicative effort. You don't want battleships this close to each other. He's already established his position, so maybe the onus is on me in this particular instance to kind of spread out, create more of a crossfire. However, we are kind of pinned down due to the presence of these heavily the battleships that remain that all basically have full HP, so there's not a lot of room to maneuver at this point in time. And they have 3 destroyers, which are kind of heretofore unchecked. Amagi does take a wicked shot, though, for presenting us broadside. Follow-up torps will take them out. I'm not going to criticize any of these destroyers for torping the battleships. That's fine. We want to get the damage as we're doing our other roles as destroyers. But the main role in this situation for the destroyers on our team is to find the enemy destroyers, shoot at them, spot them for us so we can shoot them as well. Get them off the map. 3 destroyers running around with a team full of battleships and destroyers. This Fletcher we're going to talk about, I don't want to criticize him as a player, but he does every single thing the opposite of what I would do. He's sailing behind this Colorado, trying to torp him. When he realizes the torps aren't going to hit him, then he starts firing his guns in open water. Meanwhile, there's destroyers running around unchecked that are going to kill basically our entire team if we can't stop them. So getting 50 damage per shot on a Colorado that's angled against you, sailing away from you. Ships that are sailing away from you are much, much harder to torp than ships that are sailing towards you, or preferably broadside towards you. But you gotta, if you're gonna play a destroyer, especially a counter-destroyer type of a destroyer, like an American destroyer, torping battleships at this point in the game, inappropriate, ineffective, and potentially very costly. Benson's up, we got a shot at him, we're going to take it. Battleships, you got to be shooting these destroyers. You can't throw your hands up and say, I can't hit destroyers, it's not my job. No, it is your job. These people are here to kill you. Nothing's going to protect you. Your teammate's not going to protect you. They might try, but it's up to you ultimately to deal with whatever situation comes up. Would I rather be shooting a broadside Colorado? Would I rather be shooting the Amagi? Yes, I'm more effective at dealing with those targets, but those targets are not what's going to lose the game. They're not what's going to kill me in this situation. I can angle against them. Can't really angle against these destroyers that effectively. Looking at my own play here, I would like to increase the distance between me and these reds, but again, we're kind of pinned down here. Battleships, you can view them as a rook in chess, or a piece that can project its influence across large distances. These guys are kind of pinning me down. If I give them broadside to turn away, they can potentially kill me, or at least wickedly damage me, and we're going to try and minimize that, of course, as all our team's remaining HP at this point in time. Quite valuable. We did have HE loaded to try and deal with the destroyers, but we didn't have any destroyers spotted. shot the Colorado, and then now, due to the fact that these destroyers can choose on their own if they're going to get spotted or not, switch back to AP. And the AP rounds against destroyers, fine. It's slightly less effective than the HE, but as you can see here, when you're landing those shots, you're going to be doing the damage. There's the Kraken, 5 kills. We've got the high caliber Confederate. Pretty solid game altogether, but of course, even though we have tied in ship count, we're up in points. This game is imminently losable, and again, it's kind of because those destroyers were unchecked for long periods of time. So here we got 2 ships. How can we angle against them? We're kind of primarily angled at the Colorado, and then about a 45-degree angle at the Amagi. That's about as best as we can do here. The Amagi guns, the Colorado guns, are both very threatening ships. I guess you can make the argument the Amagi's more dangerous in this situation, but of course we'd have to flip the guns around to get, if we wanted to angle at the Amagi, we'd have to flip the gun position, and we want to remove the Amagi as well. So I'm fine angling how we're doing here. It's just mainly the destroyer that we're worried about. Fletcher, you can see he's got the torps down, and as soon as he misses them, he's going to get frustrated and start shooting the ships in open water and then charge directly at them. So whenever that happens, it kind of seems like they're either bored, they want to go on to a new map or a new ship, or they just don't really know what to do. The Fletcher, though, he can single-handedly win the game, even if they kill these 2 battleships, myself and the Richie, to the right of me. We have accrued enough points because we've had the 2 caps for a long time. He can sail off in the distance, so very, very valuable piece that just removes himself out of the game, out of boredom. Very frustrating, especially when we've been putting up a pretty good effort trying to win the game for the team. Tell him to get back, he just says denied and then blows up. So, just don't do that. There's no reason to kill your ship. Maybe he's looking at the game thinking it's already lost. It's not already lost. It's never lost until the game's over. Magi's angling in at us now. That's going to be a major problem. Of course, they've been knocking out the turrets on our ship back and forth, but down goes the ship there before we can kill him. Now, the Richie, we'll just comment briefly on his options here. He can remove the Magi and then again get away from the enemy. And that's basically what he ends up doing. You can see his second turret is disabled at the moment. When I was watching this, I thought it was permanently knocked out. So he doesn't really have the option of killing these 3 ships, nor is that the best option. Regardless, he does kind of change course, dodge the Z-23's torps, but the Z-23 will have more torps. He just needs to get as far away from this destroyer, essentially, as possible. And in sailing away from them, the destroyer and the Colorado are basically in the same position, so he can angle against the Colorado as well. Does a good job there, kills the Amagi, and that's essentially what this guy does. We don't have to watch the entirety of the rest of the game, but just sail away from them, use those points, and win the game. So great job for the Richie here to close it out. But the moral of the story, you got to always constantly be evaluating how do we win in this particular instance and then implement that plan. It will change as the game goes on. That's a look at the Alabama. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. I do love to hear from you guys. And we'll see you later. All right, peace.